I was Jaedeen Horn when my accident occurred. I'm happily married. I am a newlywed. So Mr. Dobbs came in at an opportune time in my life to help me navigate through a traumatic incident that affected me on a lot of different levels. I had a break during work. I worked at the hospital, and I walked across the street to go fill a personal prescription. And as I was coming back to work, walking across the street in the crosswalk with the little white man, a car hit me, and it threw me up in the air and knocked me unconscious. I woke up to the ambulance being there, and I heard the people talking around me, so I knew what was going on, and ended up in the ED. I was only there for less time than I thought I would be, but I was in shock from all of the trauma, and they sent me home on crutches and told me to follow up with my primary care physician within a couple of days. So I went home and tried to make sense of everything that had happened. Went to see my doctor. She set me up to see an orthopedic, but due to scheduling and being out of town, it was going to be 6 weeks before I could see an orthopedic. In the meantime, I was waiting to hear from the person who had hit me or their insurance company. I had never been in that situation before, so I wasn't sure what to do. Of course, I had to take off work because I couldn't move. I had a lot of injuries to my legs, and it was very difficult to walk around. I ended up calling my dad. He said, "Well, have you called an attorney?" And I said, "No, I don't know what to do. I don't know an attorney." He said, "Well, open the phone book and put your finger down and call." So I did. And that particular firm was not taking injury cases at the time. They said they would get back to me, though, and give me a referral to someone else. But because I was asked some specific questions, I made the assumption that because I did not have life-threatening injuries, it was not going to be a big enough case to consider. So I waited for a call. I called back. I guess a few days or a week later, they gave me Spencer Dobbs' name and phone number. So I called them, and they got me an appointment right away to come in and talk to him. I've never had to deal with attorneys in this type of fashion before, so I kind of had a preconceived ideal of a stuffy shirt, a necktie and suit coat, and cold and indifferent, just a money-hungry machine. And I never got that sense from the time I walked in. I liked it because it was warm and inviting. It had a cozy feel. It didn't look like an office. And everyone was very pleasant, very inviting, and welcoming. So it really put me at ease. He's very personable, very likable, very approachable. He never made me feel like I was a small client. He always treated me like I was his biggest client. He seemed to be interested in me as a person, not just my case. Easy to talk to. And one of the biggest drawing cards for me is because I'm an active Christian, and I cared about my representation. I did not want to be represented by someone who was go for the juggler, because I care about people. And he never was that way with me at all. I have referred him already to some other people that I've met and have talked about needing an attorney. No, I love his integrity. He did what he told me he would do. He followed through, and then he went the extra mile on several things. His office was always there to answer questions or put me in touch with him if I needed him directly. They assisted me with things that I thought were probably extracurricular, but they always made me feel important and never pushed aside. I felt like I was always at the center of their attention. And I would refer Spencer Dobbs to anyone who needed an injury lawyer.